What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a commission build, really fun board coming at you. We have a truly custom built half plate, even has the guy's logo on it. Not like the do-it-yourself janky half plate I made for my QK65. This one is professionally done. We have some Franken switches going into this. It's gonna be a really cool and unique build, so let's get into it. So this keyboard was first released back in 2018 or 2019 for $400, and it's a bit of a unique one. It's got this beautiful brass bottom weight. Comment down below if you already know what keyboard this is, just based on that weight alone. Let's see who the true enthusiasts are. It has an OLED screen and a knob. Everybody in the key community loves their knobs. And if you know keyboards, if you've been in the space for a while, then I'm sure you've already guessed it. Today we're building the Satisfaction75. First, let's take a look at what we got in this commission build package to build up this Sat75. All right, let's see what was sent for this build. First, we have some 1.6 millimeter TX stabs that we'll need to lube and tune. We have the Sat75 nautical compass knob. We've got a bag of extras and goodies like the internal knob component, the OLED screen, and some O-rings, rubber feet, that sort of stuff. Next up, we have the switches. We'll be building this with some Water King switches with some JX stems swapped in. For keycaps, we'll be using a set of nice PBT Sailor to stick with the overall nautical theme here. All right, now let's see the board components. As mentioned, we have a custom built FR4 half plate, and you can even see the client's logo in the corner here. We've got the solder PCBs, and there's also a brass plate, but we won't be using that today. And now for the main attraction, the actual keyboard, the Satisfaction75 from CannonKeys. This is a Burger O-ring top mount plate keyboard. It has a 6-degree typing angle, and it's aluminum top and bottom case with a right side USB-C port. Now, if you didn't know this, gonna drop a little history and knowledge on you here. The Satisfaction75 actually gets its name from a pirate, Captain Henry Morgan. His flagship vessel was called, well, it was called the Satisfaction, obviously. Thus, you have the nautical theme on that back brass weight to kind of go along with its namesake. So let's get into the build. Let's build this Sat75 up. Keep in mind, we have the custom-made half plate. We got some Franken switches going here. We're gonna solder those in, and we'll do some sound tests at the end to see how this board sounds. All right, so we're building with the FR4 half plate, but first, let's test out the PCB and make sure it's working properly. Testing the PCB before building is an absolute must. I've actually had commission boards sent to me with broken PCBs, and trust me, you don't want to figure that out after building up the entire board. So do yourself a favor, test out the PCB. First step here is we're going to install these little rubber standoffs for the OLED screen to sit on. This will keep the OLED screen level on the board and will help us solder that in place. Once the OLED is soldered in, we'll need to install the stabs. I've lubed and tuned these with some Krytox 205 grade 0. We'll then sit this custom-made half plate on top before dropping in our switches. And once we've laid all the switches in, we then need to solder them in place. Finally, we'll solder in the knob component. I did this off camera as I was just focusing on doing it right and didn't want to mess this up. Next, we need to take the case apart by removing these 8 screws along the bottom. That will release the top and bottom case and allow us to fit the internals in the middle. There are 10 screws within the top case where the plate will attach. This is an O-ring burger mount top case, meaning the O-rings will sit both below and on the screws that we'll use to attach the plate. This will give some separation from the plate and the aluminum case to help improve the sound. Now that we've got that attached, it's time to lay the bottom case back on and close the case up. And the final step, adding on keycaps and the knob. We can't forget about the knob. Overall, I really like the way this board looks. Obviously, it's kind of an OG board in the keyboard enthusiast space, thus these crazy prices you're seeing in the aftermarket for it. It's got the OLED screen, it's got the knob. I dig the nautical theme to it. It's definitely a unique board. It kind of separates itself from your everyday typer. Now, having said that, I wasn't overly impressed with the sound or feel of this keyboard. I didn't dislike the sound, but I certainly wasn't blown away by it. I don't know if that has to do with the half plate here, the Franken switches we used, maybe the O-ring burger mount style feels a little bit outdated. This keyboard is, 5 years old or so at this point. And in terms of the feel, I don't know if it's a combination of the half plate with these switches, but it was way too bouncy for my liking. It was a fun keyboard to type on, but there's no way I would want to use that every day. There was way too much bounce to it for my liking. So what do you guys think? Is this board worth the crazy prices it's fetching nowadays? Is it just kind of the OG kind of legendary board that maybe you need to have, as part of your collection. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the Satisfaction75. Let me know what you thought of this build specifically. Did you like the sound of it? And hey, until next time, happy typing.